All right, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you all so much for joining us today on our presentation, Transitioning to Autodesk Named User Licenses. For today's presentation, we've got some amazing presenters and panelists. We've got Dottie Townsend, our Sales Training and Development, Rob Wiederman, our Manager of Imaginate Solutions Center, Kevin Keeker, the VP of Support and Training Solutions, Scott Hale, our VP of Consulting Solutions, Kim Valdez, our VP of Sales Strategy and Operations, and Todd Stewart, our Manager for E-Learning Solutions. And Todd and Kim will go ahead and be looking over your questions throughout. So again, if you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and pop those in and we will get to them as we can. I will go ahead and hand it over to Dottie now.
Thanks, Kelsey. Hi, everyone. As Kelsey had said, my name's Dottie Townsend. My position with Imaginate is Sales Training and Development. I'd like to go ahead and get started and just remind those folks that are attending, if you happen to be a government or educational customer, we can give you this time back. Just wanted to make sure that we understand your time is very, very valuable. And everything that we're going to be reviewing today is really going to be geared towards the commercial customer. So we can give you that time back and feel free to jump off and take a long lunch. All right, so our agenda today, we're going to start with a quick recap of the move from perpetual licenses to subscription and what is available now for customers who haven't made that switch yet. Autodesk's new subscription plans are based on people, or what we say, named users, not serial numbers. And as they retire plans around serial numbers and move to a named user environment, there are trade-in offers from Autodesk that are going to help you make that transition. So for customers who are currently on a network or multi-user license, they'll have the opportunity to move over to subscription, and we'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes. And it's called the trade-in offer. So this is a really good time for you customers like you to really take a look at future business needs and see how you can move into a collection as you trade into that named user environment. And then Rob Wiederman will take a few minutes to highlight some installation changes with the move from a multi-user to named user environment. Kevin Keeker, who is our VP of Support and Training Solutions, will present an overview of Autodesk plans, and he's going to talk about who the target customer is for a premium plan and the primary benefits. Kevin will also review Imaginate support and e-learning offerings and share how we're positioned to assist and support our customers through this transition. And then after Kevin, Scott Hale, VP of Imaginate Consulting Solutions, will talk about our productivity tools inside our complementary Imaginate Utilities and how customers that use Vault, Civil 3D, and Revit are increasing software efficiencies by leveraging Imaginate Utilities. And at the end of the presentation, our presenters and panelists will be available to answer your questions. So over the past 5 years, Autodesk and the channel have been moving customers from perpetual licenses on maintenance to subscription. Now, the move to subscription program ended May 6th of 2020. Many customers like you have recognized the value of Autodesk subscription and the improved workflows using tools from within industry collections. Customers like having a standard set of design tools in a collection available to them at any time, plus the flexibility of term licensing through subscription. So for those remaining maintenance customers, the time to act is now. Autodesk will not be updating design and creation suites anymore. I mean, the last release was in April, and that was the last release of any design and creation suites. Plus, all renewals of maintenance are going to have their final retirement in about 9 months on May 7th of 2021, which means there will not be any updates to perpetual products. So what's next? So to enhance a user's experience and then provide simplified license management for Autodesk products, Autodesk is moving away from licenses based on serial numbers and move into licenses that are based on people or named users. Autodesk has launched a trade-in offer as well as new plans to spring customers into the next phase of a SaaS model. Our goal today is to share more details around Autodesk's move to the named user environment, and we will spend time reviewing new Autodesk subscription plans and offer you a platform to ask your questions. Okay, so before we jump into the trade-in offer from Autodesk, I'd like to mention the key benefits to you by moving to a named user licensing environment. So named user environment will give you an environment that doesn't rely on licensed servers. It is identity-based, which we call named user. It's going to provide companies simplified license management. And it's going to promote remote workers. And that is something we're all thinking about these days. Now, a named user environment is also compatible with virtual desktops and can be installed up to 3 devices. So for example, it can be installed on a home, office, or mobile device. Now, as Autodesk retires their maintenance plans and transitions to a named user environment, they want to recognize a customer's investment in network or multi-user licenses. So for customers with standalone perpetual licenses that are currently on active maintenance, at the next renewal, before the final retirement of maintenance, which is going to be on May 7th of next year, you can trade in 1 seat of product for 1 seat of subscription, and the cost is going to be consistent with what you pay today. If you have a network maintenance plan on that first renewal, and again, before the retirement of maintenance, which is next May, you can trade in the 1 multi-user or network seat for 2 named user subscriptions, once again at a cost that's very consistent with what you pay today. So let me dig a little bit deeper into this first renewal. This means that when that contract or contracts with multi-user licenses comes up for renewal for the first time, you can take advantage of the 2 named users for 1 multi-user license. And if you don't take advantage of it at that time, then it's not going to be available the next renewal. So that's why that first renewal is very important. So for example, if you have a 1-year contract, let's say with 5 multi-user licenses that come up for renewal, let's say September 25th in a couple of weeks. At that renewal, you have the ability to trade those 5 multi-user licenses in for 10 named users license. So 5 goes in, you get 10. But if you don't take the offer at this first renewal, September 25th of 20, then it wouldn't be available to you next year in 2021, September 25th of 2021. Okay? Now, for customers who are multi-user subscribers, that means you're already on subscription. Either you had a previous maintenance that switched over to subscription or otherwise. At that first renewal, you can trade in 1 multi-user subscription and get 2 named user subscriptions. Once again, Autodesk is keeping the cost consistent with what you pay today. Now, we only have about, less than a year, August 7th of 2021. And at that time, subscriptions with multi-user plans will have their final retirement and they can't be renewed. So really now we need to start planning. And we're here to help you do that. So let's talk a little bit about multi-user licenses. This is really the time to consider the industry collection if you haven't made that move yet. Multi-user customers who did the move to subscription have another chance to trade in those multi-user licenses and trade up those individual licenses into a collection. So Autodesk is really giving you a second opportunity, which means that it would be a really good time, once again, to kind of step back and reevaluate things. We have some customers that have seen the need for different tools outside of the tools that they're using today, and the collection provides those to you. For example, the product design and manufacturing collection is giving our customers professional grade 2D, 3D model with 3D modeling tools inside AutoCAD and Inventor. Plus, the collection has advanced simulation technology in Nastran and CAD, HSM, integrated CAM tools, which is great for factory planners, and we have Recap Pro for reality capture, and for design renew, Navisworks Manage. All of those are inside the product design and manufacturing collection. And for customers who do building design, civil infrastructure designer, building civil engineers, contractors, you're getting BIM plus CAD tools inside the AEC industry collection, which is supporting your entire workflow from conceptual design through construction. The collection includes AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit. You get design analysis tools like Autodesk Insight and InfraWorks. There's Navisworks Manage for clash detection and simulation. And then for visualization and animation, there's 3D Max. Once again, all of those are inside the AEC industry collection. So this is really a perfect opportunity to look at your software needs and look at what you're using today and what you may need tomorrow, and stay ahead in your business with your technology. We see our customers challenged all the time with trying to improve their workflows, make better design decisions, meet the demands of their customers. And some of these challenges can be addressed and enabled through technology. Now, after customers trade in their network or multi-user licenses, the license manager and the files will no longer be needed. Users will access their Autodesk software through an assignment in Autodesk account and through their unique user ID. Now, with this change, access to older versions, those that are greater than 3 back, could be effective. And there's really a lot of scenarios that can be addressed. So we can't possibly address them all today because everybody's deployment's a little bit different. Everybody has different reasons for using previous versions. But I want you to know that we have an extended team here at Imaginate with a lot of experience in this area. We have a dedicated team of support specialists, in addition to our 100 plus technical consultants. We have a customer advocacy team, and of course you have your Imaginate account executive. And we're all here to help you and your and your company, our customers, navigate through these changes. So now I'm going to turn this over to Rob, and he is our technical support manager. So Rob, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thanks, Dottie. As Dottie said, my name is Rob Wiederman. I'm a head of technical support here at Imaginate. From the Imaginate resource page, we have written a couple detailed blogs that walk through this exact process of changing over your Autodesk software from multi-user to the named user model. We've also provided a link that Autodesk has for running a batch file from a command prompt that also goes through and resets the license for a particular user. The next time they would open the software up, they would get the options to choose all the license options that started out when they first installed the software. I'd also like to point out, if you did have any questions on these links that we have on the page, feel free to contact support@ran.com. On this slide, we're actually kind of given just a brief overview of how to make this change. So once you've successfully launched your software, you'll be able to pick the down arrow next to the question mark and choose About. This will bring up your Manage option for changing your license type. You can also get to this from the About command on the AutoCAD based products. From the Manage screen, you will choose Change License Type. This will get you to the Get Started page, and you can see where you get the select your type, whether it's network, serial, or user. In this case, you would want to choose user. Note it's also important to make sure that you've been assigned a license. Otherwise, this process won't go anywhere. So if you're not the contract manager or software coordinator, you will need to get with them, and they would go to the manage.autodesk.com page to get the license assigned to you. And with that, I will hand it over to Kevin Keeker, VP of Support and Training Solutions.
Thanks, Rob. As Dottie mentioned earlier, I'm going to briefly put on my sales hat and give you a high-level overview of the new Autodesk subscription plans, and specifically take a look at the benefits that are part of the new premium subscription plan. Then I'm going to briefly follow that up by covering a high-level overview of our Imagine It support and our e-learning programs that I think could be beneficial to organizations like yours as you're making this transition and getting these additional products available to your users. So as we move forward into this named user environment, Autodesk is going to be offering 3 levels of subscription plans, a standard, premium, and an enterprise plan. All customers that currently working with named user licenses, or customers who are trading in network licenses, will automatically get the Autodesk standard subscription plan and the benefits associated with it. The standard subscription plan provides base features, which include a summary product usage function, 2-step user login verification, and a base level of online technical support for basic software troubleshooting. The Autodesk Premium plan builds on the standard plan's features and will provide your company with additional functionality. The Premium plan is intended for customers that have 50 subscription seats of software, and the price on that is $300 per subscription seat, and those are available in 1-year renewable terms. The key benefits that you'll see with the premium plan, and we're going to go into more detail on these in just a moment, but it's the single sign-on, the ability to do centralized purchasing, and the expanded reporting will be a huge value to a lot of you, and that you can see some additional detail on your usage of the tools. The enterprise subscription plan is designed for the largest organizations, and will include features such as a pay-per-use licensing model, automated assignment of product users, and an enterprise success program. At this point, the enterprise program is just being really rolled out by Autodesk, and some of the details are still coming out with that. So be watching if you're a large organization and you think that the pay-per-use is something that might be a good fit for you. Be watching for additional details that will be coming soon. Since most of you on this call, I believe, fit in the mid-sized customer, I'm going to take a little bit of a deeper dive look at our premium plan that Autodesk is rolling out, and specifically the benefits that are part of it that I think would be most beneficial to you. So let's start with the single sign-on. Any of you that are currently using the named user license, or if you regularly log into the Autodesk subscription portal, you're likely aware of that 2-step verification security feature that Autodesk currently offers. Well, with the purchase of the premium plan, you get to bring that security functionality to the next level by integrating and enabling single sign-on. Single sign-on provides several security benefits in addition to making the login process simpler for your users. With single sign-on, your users will utilize their network credentials, basically their email address and your domain password, to log in and access the Autodesk software and benefits. After the initial sign-in, the users are given access to all of the Autodesk platforms, software products, and experiences that have been assigned to them by your contract admin. In addition, the other nice thing with the single sign-on is if that user isn't already a member or have a login in your portal for your organization, it will automatically create one, and then it makes it a lot easier for the contract administrator to go in and assign users to that new user. The second major benefit that the premium plan provides is an additional level of product usage reporting. With the premium plan, in addition to the by product summary report, you also have access to a by user view, which allows you to tie product usage back to an individual user or to a team. You know, for example, on the screen here, I've got an example of that view. When you're viewing the user details for a specific user, you can see how often that user used different products. In the example I've got up on the screen here, for instance, you can see that Hilda has used three products in the last 3 months: AutoCAD, Revit, and Civil 3D. And she's used at least one of those products for 76 out of the last 89 days. You can also see that the number of days she used each specific product, as well as how often she used different versions of those products. We can even drill down further, and looking at that second tab, and see how many days she's used each product for a given week. In this particular instance, you'll see that Hilda used AutoCAD 3 days a week for most of December, and then in January, her usage picked up to 7 days a week. In addition to viewing the content on the screen or the information in the portal, you also have the option to export the usage data, including the user details, to a CSV file, and then you can use Excel, Power BI, or any other analysis tool to further analyze that data to pull additional information out of it. The by user reporting provides you access to a much more granular data view and will help you identify your power users in your organization, as well as it gives you a lot more detailed information for making future decisions. The final benefit I want to talk about briefly is the 24/7 support that's included with the premium plan. The premium plan includes 24/7 support for the subscription administrators. This feature extends the support that's included with the standard plan to cover nights and weekends and gives your contract administrators access to technical assistance for those urgent issues that happen outside of your normal business hours. The contract administrators can access this support in the Autodesk portal, and support's available via an online chat, by submitting an online case, or by requesting a call back and scheduling a call back. Now, we have several customers that have already added the premium subscription plan to their software licenses, and we've received some questions, and I guess to some extent I'd say some concerns around what the support benefits were and how it works. So I want to go dive into that for just a moment more. As I've mentioned several times already, this support is available only to assigned contract administrators. It's not available to all users. Also, like the support that's included in the standard plan, this support is what we here at Imagine, I guess, would call break-fix support. It's for resolving error messages in situations where the software isn't performing correctly or you're getting error messages. It's not necessarily intended for product usage or what I would call those how-to questions that commonly come up. And that's where our Imagine It support team, and I'm going to talk about in just a moment, can really help you out with that. A couple of further examples. The Autodesk support that's included in this, it's great for dealing with issues like problems creating a user account, maybe a user or series of users that are unable to sign in after being assigned to a product, or even things like a product entitlement, a product that's not showing up in your Autodesk portal, so you're unable to assign it. Those things that Autodesk definitely would have to sign in and basically go into your account and fix a data error. And ultimately, things like software bugs, reporting error message, things like that need to get back to Autodesk programmers for fix in a future release are definitely things that this would be great for. So, as you can see, with these benefits that I very briefly talked about here, you can see how a large percentage of you, I think, will benefit from the value that the premium subscription program can give. The Autodesk created this program based directly on feedback that they've received from customers like yourselves, and are trying to address some of these issues of ease of access and access to reporting and such. The single sign-on and the the additional functionality in the reports, we've already received some great feedback, and there's a couple of quotes on the screen right now that kind of highlight that even more. So with that, I'd like to take a minute now and talk about a couple of the Imaginate support and e-learning offerings that I believe can make your transition, to this named user and with all of the collections and such a lot easier, and hopefully help you drive additional productivity from your staff. So I'm going to start off with our priority support offering. Priority support, it's Imaginate's premier technical support offering. Just as that name implies, priority support provides our customers with the top of the queue access to our senior level technical support staff. We do offer it as an annual program, and we allow all of your CAD users, not just the admins, but everybody in your organization, to directly contact our best-in-class support organization to get the technical assistance that they need. I'm not going to read all the bullets on the screen here, but a couple of things I want to highlight is we operate on a 12-by-5 basis, and our support staff are available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. As I mentioned before, we allow everyone in the organization to contact us to get assistance. Hopefully the idea behind that is we're keeping your key staff focused on productivity and on their own tasks, not being a support go-between or helping to alleviate those types of issues. And then finally, we provide multiple ways for your users to contact us: toll-free telephone, email access, an online case submission tool, and with the Productivity Now program that I'm going to talk about in just a moment, we also include an online chat function so that your users can very quickly, pick the best communication method that fits the urgency of the issue and or just their preference as far as how they like to communicate. As you can see from this offering, here in Imaginate, we take providing high quality and timely technical support very seriously. Our support team is comprised of 17 full-time staff members who are 100% dedicated to providing technical support to clients like yourselves. This team has the knowledge, real-world experience to be able to quickly and accurately resolve your CAD users' issues. And I stand behind this team 100%. The last item I'd like to discuss with you is our Productivity Now e-learning and knowledge management platform. Productivity Now is more than just a learning management system. In addition to the e-learning content and learning management capabilities, it also allows your organization to capture company-specific processes, workflows, and best practices, and then publish that information to all of your users, allowing your entire team to be more efficient, effective, and ultimately more productive. So let's take just a moment and look at the primary functions that Productivity Now can provide to you. Productivity Now is a very powerful learning management system that supports continuous learning from onboarding new hires through addressing knowledge gaps with your most experienced staff. Today, the platform includes over 500 learning paths covering 45 different Autodesk software products, and we're continually adding additional courses and content to it on a regular basis. The existing learning paths cover everything from the base fundamentals that a new user would need up through those advanced topics that your skilled users may be lacking. If you add the Knowledge Smart assessment module to the Productivity Now, you can quickly assess your users to identify skills gaps, and the system has the ability to create a customized learning path based on the results of that user's assessment and create a learning path that will specifically address those gaps in that user's knowledge. Additionally, from the learning standpoint, it includes a very powerful reporting capability, which allows managers to monitor their users' progress, as well as to identify topics which are being frequently searched on, allowing you to get proactive. Instead of waiting till an issue becomes critical, you can jump on it and get ahead of the curve. Productivity Now, it's also a knowledge capture and sharing tool, as I mentioned a moment ago. It allows users who you've assigned the content management permission to customize our standard content to tailor it to your company's specific practice and specific workflows. In addition, you have the ability to create and publish an unlimited amount of company-specific content for your employees to consume, and it doesn't have to be CAD related. Beyond the learning and knowledge sharing capabilities are many other features, and I don't have time to name them all, but a couple of items I do want to call out is it has a powerful workgroup functionality that allows your users to create teams and to very quickly and easily share information across that team, as well as there are thousands of how-to videos, detailed step-by-step workflows, and key technical documents that are all indexed and searchable so your users can very quickly find the answers to the problems that they're having. These primary functions, combined with the included priority support, so yes, if you go with the productivity now, we include all the benefits of our priority support as well. But together, we provide a platform that your organization can build upon and rely on to drive additional productivity within your organization. So as I mentioned before, with this move to the named user license model and your users getting access to additional software titles from the collections and such, I think it's going to be critical that you're providing timely support and access to quality e-learning materials to enable those users to continue to be productive with these new tools. So I encourage each of you to contact your Imaginate sales executive to learn more about these programs and what they can do, for your organization. So thanks for bearing with me as I put on my sales hat. I really appreciate it. Now I'm going to turn this presentation over to Scott Hale. Scott is our VP of Consulting Services, and he's going to give you a brief overview of our complementary software utilities and also talk about some of the other resources that we have available to help you guys through this licensing transition. Scott?
Excellent. Thanks, Kevin. Hey, everyone. As Kevin mentioned, I oversee our consulting services team and our software product offerings here at Imaginate. We've been serving customers in both the AEC and manufacturing industries for many years, including ongoing development of our own proprietary software products and tool sets to increase productivity for our customers. So today I get the privilege of reviewing with you one of these sets of high quality products, our Imaginate Utilities. All right, so depending on the industry that you're coming from and the subscription product that you have, an Imaginate customer will have complimentary access to these utilities, which provide additional features, function, automation for Revit, Civil 3D, and data management if you're in a vault environment. A separate set of tools is available for each industry segment here. You got your building and construction, the infrastructure, and data management, as you can see. So let's take a quick look at the highlights for each one of these three products. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the utilities for Civil 3D, but I can tell you that all of our utility packages operate basically the same. Once they're installed, they're accessed through an additional custom menu system and function as seamless part of your Autodesk application. In the case of Civil 3D, we include more than a dozen tools to speed up your everyday work processes. I don't have time to talk through all the different bullets, features, functions, etc., but a few of the most popular tools you're going to get in this set are going to include the ability to import Google Maps and Bing data, along with multiple tools for manipulating and modifying pipe runs, slopes, etc., and quickly swap out components. One thing to note, the Google Map import function here is actually the most popular tool that we have across all the tool sets and is used to a great degree by many, many customers. All right, now we're talking a little bit about Revit. Within Revit, we have more than 40 tools that we've developed that can immediately increase your productivity within the software by reducing time required for many repetitive tasks. A few of my favorites here would be our automated item numbering tools, tools for easy element and room renumbering, dimension text updating to override multiple dimensions with selected options, etc., a sheet duplicator tool to replicate the format of your existing sheet, and obviously a whole lot more. If you want to see the whole list of everything you get in this Revit Utilities, since I've only touched on a few. You can see those up on our website at imagineit.com. All right, so lastly, we're going to talk about our utilities for the Vault client. So here we've got another 13 tools purpose-built to help speed up tasks within your Vault environment. A few of the best time savers that I've seen here are automated method for setting up a complex folder structure from a template that you'll build, and a tool for updating existing folder structures to match that defined template. Big time savings. Great enhanced tool for extracting BOM data from your Vault, and an automated tool to speed up the process of changing and updating file properties. So great stuff. Again, all of these software tools are available to you complimentary as a subscription customer with Imagineit. All right, so in addition to learning some pretty valuable information regarding changes that are occurring within the Autodesk licensing world, you got some insight into the many services and complementary tools that Imagineit offers aimed at increasing your productivity. At Imagineit, we're committed to your success. We encourage you to take advantage of all the resources and tools available to you as our customer. Reach out to your account executive to review your current environment and determine the best go-forward plan, and know that with over 100 technical experts from all these different industries, we've got you covered from an available resource perspective. Lastly, our customer advocates are standing by to assist you with any of your licensing questions and are available to help you navigate to the appropriate resources based on whatever your situation and needs might be. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Dottie to wrap things up, and we'll be here afterwards to answer any questions you might have. Dottie?
Thanks, Scott. So before we let you go today, we just wanted to talk about a few special offers that are going on right now with Autodesk. So there's a trade-in perpetual offer, and this offer is for customers who have perpetual licenses that are not on active maintenance. And customers through October 23rd of this year who have these older releases as far back as 1998 up to 2021 can save 20 or 25% based on the term that you subscribe for, and trade in those perpetual licenses for subscription. So if you were to subscribe for a 3-year term, you would get 25% off the SRP. And if you would subscribe for a 1-year term, you would get 20% off the SRP. In addition to that, for customers who are interested in a 3-year term, there is a special financing offer, 0%, 36 months at 0% for new and renewing Autodesk subscriptions that were switched from maintenance. Now, there are some guidelines here, such as for the United States, the minimum sale would need to be $10,000, and it's $15,000 for Canada. But this is good now through October 16, 2020. And there are some limits to the amount of money that is going to be allocated for this offer. So if this is something that you're interested in, act sooner than later and speak to your Imagineit account manager to get more details and to find out if you're eligible for this special offer.
Fantastic. Thank you. Hi, this is Kim Valdez. I have been going through and been highlighting some questions here that I think might be beneficial for the entire audience. And as Kelsey said, we still have some time. You can continue to submit your questions, and I'm just going to read through them. And some I will answer, and then there'll be some that I will assign to others to participate and answer. So first question I have here is, if I own AutoCAD multi-user, at the time that I do the trade-in, can I change my product type? So great question. This is actually a program that Autodesk hasn't had available in a long time that allows you to change products at the time of your renewal. So this 1-for-2 program will allow you to trade up to an additional product. So you can trade some of your AutoCADs, or you can trade all of your AutoCADs to an industry collection, as an example. Next question. Are there any plans to be able to swap out a single product from one suite from one suite to another. So that's basically the same question, right? So it would be helpful that if I can take a standard AutoCAD and move to an Inventor or Map 3D. Yes, there will be the option to trade product type at the time of the renewal for customers to take advantage of the 1-for-2 program. Next question. Once I have a name user subscription that is acquired, for example, on a trade-in, are those user licenses owned forever? I'm not clear on what is meant for first year only. So no, it's not owned by that named user forever. You can reassign licenses. It's not locked in for that particular user forever. So at any time you can make changes and you can change the user. Next question. So if I currently have 20 multi-user licenses that are accessed by 40 intermittent users, Autodesk will provide me with a 40 name user license with this trade-in. And is it going to cost me double? So there's multiple questions there. So if you have 20 users in this example, you have an existing 20 user multi-user contract. When you take advantage of the 1-for-2 program, yes, you will be able to get 40 licenses, 40 named users, right? And the pricing will approximately be the same. So for customers that have already taken advantage of the maintenance to subscription move, right? There was a published price schedule. So when we say the word, the pricing is consistent, the pricing is consistent with what your pricing schedule is today. Autodesk had published a 5-year renewal pricing schedule. If you were moved to maintenance, you were locked in for a period of time. And then after that, there was 5% increment price increases over the 3 years once you get into year 4. So whatever your pricing schedule was at the time that you made that switch, you will stay on that pricing schedule and the pricing will be the same. That's why we said consistent, because there's a lot of different scenarios there. But to better understand what your pricing options are, I would, in the 1-for-2 trade-in, I would reach out to your Imagine representative. What about previous version access? Well, you can access up to 3 versions behind the current release. Next question. We already had a renewal. Our renewal was due in June. We've already renewed. Will I still be able to take advantage of the 1-for-2 trade-in? Well, if you have a multi-user product, when your next renewal comes up, you will have the option to take advantage of this trade-in. Next question. For those of us who have bought our perpetual licenses for 3 years in the future, is Autodesk still offering the perpetual license for the remainder of our term? Yes. So if you have an existing 3-year maintenance contract, you will continue to use that contract. You can still continue to use those licenses up until the end of the term of your contract. So when it comes time for you to renew your contract, then you will be able to take advantage of the switch to subscription, right, at that time. So no change for you until the end of your contract. All right, next question. Would it be an option to combine all licenses, even if they are different expiration dates, and trade in as a complete group? So the answer to that is yes. I would suggest that you reach out to your account manager to review your options to align contract dates. Next question. Can licenses be switched from one user to an next, right? Yes, you can reassign licenses within the Autodesk portal at any time. Next question. So do we need to purchase a seat for every user that wants access, even those that rarely use the software? We have 5 to 10 users that are rarely in, but they do want to have access to manage designs and projects. So my recommendation is, again, to reach out to your Imagine representative to come up with the best go-forward plan to minimize your expense and maximize your software investment. But the answer is, short answer is yes, you will need a license for all users of Autodesk software. Now, there are things that you can do, because like I said, you can reassign licenses at any time. So again, really to come up with what is the right mix of licenses based on your utilization, I suggest that you reach out to your Imagine representative. Next question. Will I see how many hours a person used a product or just days that they did? Well, you will be able to get an aggregate utilization data of the usage, right? If that's on a standard plan. If you have a premium plan, you can get utilization data at the user level, but you will not be able to get like aggregate data or user data specific to a project. It's based on, again, standard plan, it's aggregate data on the usage of your total licenses. And then if you have premium, you can get, specific utilization data at the user level, but not tied to a particular project. Next question. Can I limit the software seen by users? Company policy may not be on the current version for valid reasons, and yet when I assign software to a user, they are not able to see the previous release. They're almost tagged for an update. Well, all users can only see what the administration assigns to them. So if they're receiving any type of error message or they're getting any type of warnings, you might want to reach out to your Imaginate representative or our customer advocacy team or support team to make sure that your licenses are set up correctly. Can I download the presentation? We will be sending out the recording along with a copy of a Q&A. Next question. As it pertains to single sign-on, when a user leaves the company, does this remove the Autodesk account or at least disable it? Since single sign-on, right, they will not have the ability to log in after leaving the company. It's not automatic. You will have to disable the user, but they will not, once that user is disabled, they will no longer have the ability to access. And you can reassign that license to somebody else.
Actually, Kim, can I put a clarification on that one?
Certainly.
When you disable the user's login in your Active Directory, since it is synchronized to the Autodesk account, it does disable their use, so they can't. That's how it does it. It disables it so they can't log in. It does not delete the user out of your Autodesk, from that standpoint, and you do have to go in and reassign that license to a new user if you want to, but it will at least automatically make it so once you've terminated that Active Directory user, it will disable them from being able to utilize the software.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Todd, Kevin, do you see any questions here that would be good to share with the team? I'm kind of combining some questions that have been coming in.
I'll throw one out. I've seen several questions in here specifically around using older versions of software. When you make this move to the named user model, you get access to the current version plus 3 back. So basically 2018 forward. There's been a lot of questions about people asking, well, what if I have, I need 2016 or 20 whatever, an older version. The general rule is that's what you get, but there is an exception process that can be done if you work with your account manager. There's some forms that have to be filled out to get temporary authorization to do that. Those do have to go through an Autodesk review process. So I can't say it's automatic, but there at least is a roadmap, so to speak, that we can go through to help you hopefully get that access turned back on. And there was one other one, Kim, that I was going to point out, but I just lost it on the screen here.
So there was a technical one that I'm looking at now that I know this scenario has come up a few times. So let me just call this one out. So is there a way for a user to gain access to an assigned license but not used when the administrator is on vacation?
I can answer that one.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
What we typically do on the support end and the vacation thing is a pretty common thing, is we tend to temporarily make the contract manager, software coordinator, someone that is currently available in the company. That way that person can get into the account, assign the license, and typically what we do when that person comes back from vacation or when they say they want to, we just switch the contract manager or coordinator back.
Along those lines, you also can set up a secondary admin. So you don't have to have it all totally siloed in just one administrator. You can set up a secondary admin within the rights.
Well,
Excellent, excellent. Looking through the list here, Rob, do you see any that should be called out? Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, how often do I need to log in to use AutoCAD?
I think I've
Well,
answered
you
that
need to
one a
check.
couple times. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
once
yeah,
every
come on.
30 days. And you should be getting warnings too when it's given that you're going to need to sign in at some point. I know it usually says you've got 7 days remaining. Again, it just needs to do the handshake with the Autodesk server periodically, and that's every 30 days.
So I interpreted that question slightly different than what you just answered. Because yes, the software has to handshake. So if you've got a computer or a laptop that doesn't have internet access, it'll have to have internet access at least once every 30 days. I took it to mean, because there was another similar question regarding if a user doesn't log into the license to use the Autodesk software within 30 days, does it take that license away from them and put it back in the pool? And the question is no, that does not change that standpoint. The user, they don't have to sign into AutoCAD or a product every 30 days, but the software on that machine to stay active has to have that handshake with Autodesk on a 30-day basis.
Perfect. I'm going to bring up another question here that I want to just kind of clarify. Were you going to say something, Dottie?
Well, I was. There was one question that somebody read off. It might have been you, Kim, but it was about that first renewal and being confused. And I interpreted that question a little bit differently.
Okay.
So I'd like to maybe explain a little bit more. That first renewal is the TradeUp Offer. So that's when you can do that. And if you have multi-user licenses and you trade them in for name users, those licenses remain yours. Now you can reassign them to other people, but if you have 5 and Autodesk gives you 10, they're not going to take those extra 5 away from you at the first renewal. And that's how I interpreted that one question, and I just thought I'd elaborate on that.
No, that's perfect.
Does that make
Dottie.
sense? Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. So there is one question that seems to be kind of coming up. It just keeps getting asked slightly different, and it's around, reassigning licenses. So I'm getting the feeling that there might be some confusion about licenses. So once you assign a named user, that named user is assigned. You do not have to reassign a user unless that user leaves the company. Then you would reassign that particular subscription to another named user, right? Or if you're in a situation where you have, maybe part-time users or you have interns or something like that, and you want to share licenses with another user, what you're doing is you'd be pulling from one named user to the next named user. So it's not that you're required that every day, 30 days, you've got to, continue to assign licenses. Once that name user has been assigned, they're assigned. And that's the only time you would make a change is if you need to make a change because you want to assign a license to another user, right? Or if someone has left the company. So I think this is a question maybe for Todd, and this has kind of come up again about assigning licenses. I can assign a collection and I only want them to have a particular version, right? We have 2021, but I only want them using 2020. Todd or Rob, can you address that question?
You can only assign the product in the system, not a version year that I'm aware, unless Rob wants to interrupt. But
that's correct.
You are limited by what products you have installed on your machine to run. So that's how you would limit that.
That's correct.
Todd, any further questions that you think that we need to call out?
Oh my gosh, I have seen so many.
Oh, I actually got a good one here. I got a good one here. I'm just going to call this one out real quick. I have users that are in the field and they do not have internet. What do we do?
work with your Imaginate sales rep about that particular situation, and see if it's something they can use a MiFi or a Wi-Fi or something to connect every 30 days, or if it is what I call a black zone or a black area that you're not able to, connect that computer to the network for security reasons, then work with your account rep and they will work with Autodesk in that situation to see what you can do.
Okay, we generally see these types of situations for government and education customers, and at right now there is no 2-for-1, or sorry, 1-for-2 program. However, if they are a name user and again they need to access in an area where they don't have access to Wi-Fi or MiFi, then we'll have to work with Autodesk to come up with a alternative solution. Kevin, Rob, do you guys have any additional questions you see popping up that would be beneficial for the group?
I was just going to bring up that a lot of people keep asking about home use licenses, and really they don't exist anymore because you'll be able to sign in at home the same as you're going to be able to sign in the office.
And no, you cannot limit that they can't use it at home. That was one question. Another one that comes up a lot is shared computer, and being able to, what do you do on a shared computer like in a conference room? The simple answer is log in and out of the product. As you are coming in, Rob would go in and log in as himself and his login, and then log back out of the product. When he's done, I would come in and use it. I'd log in. Very simply done in the menu.